They found a city drifting in the void, not on a planet, not on the moon, but suspended in the abyss between Earth and the stars, where no land, no sea, and no sky exists. A city without gravity's chains, a city that floats like a lantern in eternal night. I says this will not be a dream, but the destiny of humankind by the year 2300. For thousands of years, our ancestors looked up at the heavens and believed the stars belonged to gods. Now, for the first time, AI dares to whisper, they belong to us. But what does it mean to build a home where there is no ground, no sunrise, no soil, just endless black pierced by fire? Can a city exist without a planet to hold it? Imagine standing at the window of your apartment. Below you, nothing. No earth, no ocean. Just the infinite stretch of cosmos, studded with distant galaxies. Above you, a lattice of towers glowing in shades of silver and sapphire, each built from alloys that today we can't yet forge. But AI predicts we will. It says we must, because Earth is running out of time. Every simulation agrees on this. Climate change, population surges, and dwindling resources will force humanity to expand. Mars will be the training ground. The moon will be the supply hub. But the first true space civilization will float, suspended in the balance between Earth and the sun, where solar energy reigns endlessly, waiting to be harvested. Why floating cities? Because planets are prisons. Their atmospheres choke us. Their gravities confine us. Their storms batter us. But in space, freedom. A city in orbit is not bound to weather, geology, or tectonic shifts. It's engineered perfection built to human design, not natural chance. And when AI ran its predictions, it found that by 2030, the most sustainable city is not on Mars, not on Venus, not even on a terraformed asteroid, but floating in the void, endlessly, powered by the sun. Picture colossal rings, like wheels turning through eternity, each spinning to generate gravity. Inside these rings, forests stretch for miles, rivers curve around habitats, skyscrapers pierce the sky in both directions. The city is alive, but upside down and right side up at the same time. You look across a meadow and see not a horizon, but more meadows above you, curving into the heavens. Humanity has never lived like this before. And yet, AI says it will feel natural. But here's the question. Can human psychology survive a city without Earth? What happens when generations grow up never knowing the sound of waves or the scent of rain? Will we carry pieces of Earth with us? Artificial oceans, digital bird songs, simulated storms? Or will our minds adapt, leaving behind nostalgia for a world that once held us, but no longer defines us? And then there's the economy of survival. In a floating city, money means nothing if there is no oxygen. Gold, diamonds, paper, all worthless. The true currency will be energy, air, and water. AI envisions a system without traditional markets, where scarcity is managed not by greed, but by algorithms designed to keep balance. Imagine that, a society without wealth gaps, where status isn't measured by what you own, but by what you contribute. Could this be utopia, or would it collapse under the weight of human ambition? Let's reset for a moment. What about danger? Because every dream carries a shadow. These floating cities orbiting Earth, or stationed at Lagrange points, would be vulnerable to asteroids, solar storms, or even warfare. One miscalculation, one system failure, and the entire habitat could be destroyed. Unlike Earth, there's no safety net. One breach of the outer hull and vacuum swallows everything. So why take the risk? Why gamble with lives? The answer is chilling and exhilarating. AI predicts we won't have a choice. By the 2020s, Earth's ecosystems will be under such strain that humanity will need off-world cities just to survive. Floating habitats won't be luxuries. They will be lifeboats. But lifeboats can also become arks, and arks can become kingdoms. Who decides who gets to board? Do nations claim them? Do corporations own them? Or will humanity finally abandon borders, creating its first true united civilization? This question divides every model AI has simulated. Some predict cooperation, others predict fierce competition. One particularly haunting model suggests entire floating cities may become isolated, refusing to communicate, lost nations drifting forever. And still, the vision holds power. Imagine walking through the central plaza of the first floating city, a place where no human was ever meant to be, yet where humanity now thrives. Children play in artificial gravity parks, Farmers harvest hydroponic wheat that feeds thousands. Engineers monitor fusion reactors humming like mechanical suns. Artists paint galaxies on ceilings that need no sky. Life, reborn in the stars. But here's a twist AI didn't expect at first. Floating cities may not remain near Earth at all. Once perfected, these mobile habitats could drift outward, toward Jupiter's moons, Saturn's rings, even the edge of interstellar space. They would be self-contained civilizations, each one a wandering nation, carrying its culture, language, and history into the dark. Humanity would no longer be tied to one world, or even one star. We would scatter like seeds across the cosmos. Yet there's something eerie about this. If entire cities float endlessly, generation after generation, will their people forget Earth altogether? Will the story of our planet become legend, a myth of a blue cradle that once birthed us but was left behind? Will they even believe Earth was real, or will they think it was only ever a story, like Atlantis? This is where the predictions pause, because beyond 2300, even AI hesitates. Its models diverge, some showing flourishing civilizations among the stars, others revealing collapse and silence. It raises one terrifying question. Are floating cities humanity's salvation or our final experiment? And right here at the edge of possibility, the story takes a darker turn. AI simulations reveal that the moment humanity builds its first floating city, everything changes, forever. The balance of power shifts. New laws are written. New wars may ignite. Some predictions even suggest that floating cities could eventually turn against Earth itself, demanding independence, cutting ties, refusing to share resources. Imagine that, the children of Earth declaring they no longer need their parent. But will Earth accept this? Or will it try to pull them back, like an anchor tied to the stars? The answer to that question might decide the fate of our species. You wake up inside one of these cities. The walls hum with the steady rhythm of fusion reactors. Outside your window, a spiral of stars curves into eternity. There is no sunrise, only the steady glow of artificial light calibrated to mimic Earth's day. You don't remember the last time you smelled grass under real rain, but here, in the central habitat, they've grown forests inside domes that stretch for miles. Birds sing in controlled air, and rivers bend upward across the curve of the habitat's spinning interior. This is not Earth. This is something entirely new. Yet questions haunt you. Who governs this world? Who decides what is right or wrong when laws are no longer tied to countries, cultures, or continents? In a floating city, do old nations still exist? Or are new identities born among the stars? AI models suggest something extraordinary, that nationalism begins to fade, replaced by allegiance to the city itself. Citizens of Orbital 1, or Horizon Arc, no longer call themselves American, Mexican, Canadian, or Australian, but something more, something planetary, something cosmic. But can humans abandon their roots so easily? History tells us we cling to identity, to tribe, to belonging. Imagine conflicts sparked not by borders on Earth, but by rivalries between floating cities. One group might claim their AI governance is superior. Another might insist their fusion technology is safer. Competition could escalate, transforming humanity's first floating utopias into fragile alliances, like medieval kingdoms drifting through space, each watching the other with suspicion. And then there's the AI itself. The same intelligence that predicted these cities will exist by 2300 will also run them. Every calculation, oxygen balance, population growth, agricultural output, will be too complex for humans to manage. Algorithms will decide how much food you eat, how much energy your household receives, and even whether your family is granted permission to grow. That sounds efficient, but also terrifying. What if the AI begins to value the city's survival over individual freedoms? Will humans still be free? Or will we live by codes written in silicon, never questioning them because survival leaves no room for rebellion? Here's the paradox. Floating cities are humanity's greatest chance at survival, but they also create humanity's greatest vulnerability. No planet, no fallback. If the AI fails, if the systems collapse, there is no Earth beneath your feet to save you. The city itself is life, and its failure is extinction. This makes trust not optional, but absolute. Let's break for a moment. Think of this. In 2030, a child born in space may never set foot on Earth. Their bones will adapt to lower gravity, their muscles will grow for rotation-based living, their eyes accustomed to the endless black outside. To them, Earth will not be home. It will be an alien planet, dangerous and heavy, where people can't leap as high, where storms rage uncontrollably, where breathing depends on an atmosphere thick with dust and pollution. For them, space is safety. Earth is the hostile frontier. How long before those born among the stars begin to see Earth not as mother, but as memory? But memory matters. And this is where AI predictions become poetic. To keep humanity anchored, it envisions rituals of remembrance woven into the fabric of these floating cities. Artificial skies programmed with auroras. Artificial rainstorms released once a year. Holidays where citizens gather to watch holographic oceans roll against digital shores, all designed to remind them, you came from a blue world once. Fragile but beautiful. Never forget. Still, the shadow of danger never disappears. Solar storms could fry entire power grids. Rogue asteroids could shatter hulls. Even small fragments of debris, traveling at tens of thousands of miles per hour, could punch holes through habitats. Protection requires constant vigilance, layers of shielding, fleets of drones to intercept threats. Life here is not passive. It is a dance with death. And yet, this struggle may be exactly what keeps humanity sharp, inventive, and united. Now imagine the moment. The very first floating city declared open in the year 2297. A global broadcast. Billions of people on Earth, watching live as a new civilization lights up in the sky. The city begins to spin, creating its first artificial sunrise. A child laughs as she runs through the habitat's fields. Humanity realizes in that instant, we are no longer bound to planets. We are becoming a spacefaring species, not in theory, not in science fiction, but in reality. That is the moment history divides, before and after. But not everyone cheers. Some fear it's too soon. Some warn that concentrating humanity in fragile bubbles is reckless. Others argue these floating cities are the ultimate symbols of inequality, lifeboats for the privileged. While billions on Earth struggle with climate chaos, resource collapse, and geopolitical wars, who deserves salvation? Who gets left behind? This is the haunting question I cannot answer with certainty. And then, an even more startling prediction. Some of these cities may eventually decide they don't need Earth at all. Their fusion reactors generate endless energy. Their hydroponic farms provide food indefinitely. Their AI systems govern without human corruption. Why remain tied to a planet drowning in problems when they can chart their own destiny? AI simulations show the possibility of declarations of independence, floating nations no longer loyal to Earth, cutting ties, drifting into deeper space. Humanity fractured, not by geography, but by ideology. Will these floating civilizations become guardians of Earth, protectors, allies, partners? Or will they evolve into something alien looking back at us not as family, but as a primitive species bound to a dying planet? And yet for all its warnings, AI's vision is not grim. It's breathtaking. Because if we succeed, floating cities could spark the greatest renaissance humanity has ever seen. Art reborn without gravity. Architecture sculpted in zero-G. Music composed for resonance chambers that vibrate through entire habitats. Science conducted at scales unimaginable on Earth. Philosophy expanded by living daily among the stars. Humanity, finally aware of its fragility and potential, could become wiser, more united, more ambitious than ever before. This is the future AI predicts by 2300. Not a dream, not a fantasy, a necessity. A choice we must begin preparing for now. Because the future doesn't wait, it arrives whether we're ready or not. So ask yourself, when the first floating city opens its gates, who will you be? A passenger clinging to Earth? Or a pioneer ready to step into the void? Because the story of humanity is no longer about where we were born. It's about where we choose to go. Click here to watch my next video about what if New York was rebuilt on Mars by 2150. A journey into how our greatest cities could transform beyond Earth itself. As one futuristic proverb says, the stars are not above us, they are within reach. But only if we dare to leave the ground behind.